to Civil Affairs and was appointed a 38 Golf military government specialist with a transportation skill identifier. He currently serves as the functional special chief for the 351st Civil Affairs Command, Mountain View, California. In this role, he leads a team of subject matter experts employing both military and civilian acquired skills to synchronize Army capabilities with host nation, interagency, and indigenous populations to improve outcomes across complex human domain systems. In a civilian capacity, Brad is the Director of Operations for On-Demand Helicopter Charter Service company serving Central Texas. With that, again, thank everybody for joining us, and I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to you, Brad.
All right, thank you, Doug. And I've just unmuted myself. I want to say Happy New Year to the audience, and just a quick orientation of what you're looking at. So I am in Austin, Texas, Hookham, and that is a view of West Austin. You're looking at Zilker Park from the 28th floor of our residence. So it's not virtual. That is the big Texas sky. So once again, my name is Colonel Brad Hughes with the 351st Civil Affairs Command. I am Functional Specialty Chief. And I want to thank Third Order Effects for inviting me to speak, specifically Colonel Retired Doug Hurst. He is the CEO, and the COO, Captain John McGillicott. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. And what we're going to do is it's going to be a nuts and bolts overview of the 38 Golf program, as best I understand it. There are certainly things that I don't know, and there are exciting initiatives coming out of both USACAPOC, the Strategic Initiatives Group, and Proponent. And what we like to say in the 351 is it pays to be a 38 Golf. So I hope that I'm able to impart that. But what we won't do is take a deep dive into, I know there's experts here in the audience, but I'm not going to be able today to relate your specific area of expertise and how perhaps the 38 Golf program can support that. We're all about a baseline understanding across all the skill identifiers. I'll get into that a little bit, but we're not going to, it's more of a nuts and bolts overview. So as a 38 Golf, I am a 6 Foxtrot, that's transportation, and then I carry a 1 mic in terms of proficiency code. I'm a senior practitioner. And for those that don't know, there's 3 codes. There's I think it's an O code, or Mike, where it's basic, N is basic, M is senior, and then the O, I believe, is expert. If I got those letters out of order, I apologize, but bottom line is there are 3 codes. So next slide, please. Okay, so my path to becoming a 38 Golf, I am a branch transfer guy, and right now there's 2 paths. There's the branch transfer route, and there's the new direct appointment route. A little bit about, but 26 years, and I went to grad school late in my career. Got a business degree from the University of Texas, and I wanted to do something different. I finished aviation at the executive officer role in a aviation brigade here in Austin, the 36 CAB, Combat Aviation Brigade. And again, wanted to do something different, leverage my degree if I could. And I had always been attracted to civil affairs, security cooperation, that mission set. And throughout my career, really starting with Uphold Democracy. So for those that remember, 95, 96, Haiti, I was deployed there as a flight operations officer, supporting the Canadians, Argentinians, and 10th Mountain with free and fair elections for the Haitian people. And that really gave me my first taste of time what I thought was civil affairs, civil-military relationships, and hook was set. I did counter-drug work for a number of years, flying helicopters in support of law enforcement here in Central Texas. And that partnering, building relationships, in this case with law enforcement agencies, was exciting. And I thought I had a knack for it. After 9/11 and, when mobilizations, I was in the National Guard at this time. And when mobilizations hit the Guard, I did deploy in 2005, 2006, more in a kinetic role, flying a Black Hawk for a aviation battalion. But then when I went back, it was more security cooperation related. I was with BCT as the Brigade Aviation Officer, and ended up embedding with an Iraqi brigade operating in the vicinity of the IZ. We called it the Pink Zone back then. But that really, that also continued to set the hook, that ability to partner with, that was more mill to mill, but just the partner aspect of it was exciting. And then aviation, I did finish up, I mentioned, as a executive officer, but did deploy as a battalion commander to OEF with an aviation brigade. Back then, it was more bilateral cooperation. We worked with the Kuwaitis, Iraqis, Emiratis, a number of folks across the Gulf region. And I really, I liked that. And so when the 38 Golf program, when I became aware of that and saw an opportunity to go civil affairs, that's when I made the branch transfer, meaning I applied as a 38 Golf and successfully negotiated the board. I'll talk about that here in a minute, and was able to really find a role within the 351. So that's my path. In terms of what is a military government specialist and a little bit about the program, I think we all know, or for those that don't, the area of concentration leverages civilian expertise, and it resides solely in the Army Reserve. And what I tell people who are interested in becoming a Golf is, what you've done in the military is important, but when your packet is looked at by the board, it's really, what is that expertise? Can you talk to, what you've done outside of the military? Maybe make some tie-ins to your military career, but that's what the Golf program is looking for. And I do see some folks who have stumbled, really telling their military story and not showcasing that expertise in terms of what they've done as a civilian. There's been some recent changes. You do need to have a master's degree to become a Golf, and I think that's, again, that's recent, but it's that kind of codifies your expertise. So that's what a Golf looks like, and it's organized around 5 functional specialty areas. If you haven't looked at the 3-57 in a while, and it is under it's being revised. I think those comments are due at the end of the month, but take a look at the reg, and you can see the 5 specialty areas and how they align with the U.S. government stability sectors. And I'll just name them. Hopefully I can successfully, but we have, there's justice and reconciliation, which is where our international law officers tend to reside. Governance. We have economic stability and infrastructure. There's security with kind of a border security tie-in, and humanitarian assistance and social well-being, and that's where there's a public health focus. So those are the 5 functional specialty areas.
Hey, Brad, I hate to interrupt.
Yeah.
But your audio is kind of coming in and out a little bit. I'm not sure if there's anything you can do about that, but just want to make you aware.
Okay, let's see what I can do here.
Everybody stand by, nobody leave. We'll get this figured out here in a second.
Hello.
I think we got you again. And if you need to, you can cut your video if that's pulling anything and just do audio.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. And sorry about that, folks. There's some new COVID protocols here in the building. Access to our HOA internet is a little sketchy. I'm off my phone right now, so my apologies. But I think where we left off is I was talking about the specialty areas. Under those, there's then an additional 16 functional specialties. And then those functional specialties are supported by I'm seeing a comment now. Those 16 functional specialties are focused or are supported rather by the skill identifiers or the 18 functional military government specialists. Just some quick history. I'm not going to get into a history lesson, but the 38 Golf program, the military government specialist, was conceptualized in 2012 by the CA proponent. And again, I think it's important, and we all probably know this, but what does the 38 Golf do? What does that military government specialist do? He or she focuses on military government operations, and that's transitional government authority, or I may have butchered that. And then it's also support to civil administration. So that's really what differentiates the 38 Golf program. Civil reconnaissance, civil engagement, SIM, CMOC, all that's very important, and we do that. But I think it's important to, again, differentiate the Golf program, and we need to get back to our roots. And what we do is Mil-Gov operations. So I just wanted to emphasize that. So here's everybody's interested in your path to becoming a 38 Golf, and there's a number of things happening. I'll talk. I just saw a comment flash regarding when the next board is, but right now there are two methods to get there. You can be a officer branch transfer, and that's the route that I took. So if you're still in uniform, you're in a different compo, and I wanted to showcase that too. I was compo 2. But if you're in the IRR, different compo, you want to come into compo 3 or the reserves, and you meet the other requirements, you branch transfer. You negotiate the board successfully. You're offered the 38 Golf with that specific ASI, and you accept the transfer and you come in. There are some anomalies. I'm not going to get into that with lawyers and medical personnel who want to become a Golf. There's some things that those branches require before you can come into civil affairs. But just know that I'm not an HR expert, but I know that there's been, some challenges. I think within the 351, we successfully, we've brought in one of each flavor, both legal and medical. But just know that you'll be dealing with some challenges with your technical chain, if you will. Then there's the civilian direct appointment, and that's really been a success for the SIG, or the Use of KPOC Strategic Initiatives Group. And it's really a shop of 2, and I think it's important that we know that, or it could be a shop of 3, but there's 2 really doing the heavy lifting. It's Colonel Scott DeJesse and Major Dale Koyangan, and they are really advancing the ball, doing recruiting heavily, finding those experts that are out there, and bringing them into a pool. And we hope that the next batch of appointments will occur. And this is what I know in terms of the next panel. Quarter 3, I have no specific date in FY21. The FY21 MILPER has not published yet. Hopefully it publishes before the panel. It should, but that seems to be what people are talking about and anticipating, April, May timeframe. We'll see. But within the batch of applications that'll be looked at, it contains a large pool. I think the number is 20, and you can see some metrics in the lower right corner. 20 uniform personnel that want to branch transfer in, and then roughly, I think it's 39 civilian direct appointees. And that's exciting. There have been some direct appointees that have negotiated boards previously, earlier in FY20. And I think the last board would have been the summer of 20. There's about 60, I think the number is, but they haven't gone any further, meaning they haven't, gone to MEPS, they haven't received their clearances. They've, they've been approved to be a 38 golf, but the next steps haven't occurred yet. So that's what I know about, again, the panel and the two methods of becoming a golf. I'm going to mention it. I won't talk to it, but the ability to receive a direct commission, that is continuing to get momentum. And I think we will see that as a third route, but right now, branch transfer and civilian direct appointment. In terms of the program outlook, I think it's exciting. And again, that gets back to what we say in the 351, it pays to be a 38 golf. So the Strategic Initiatives Group is really working to set up institutional alignment across the 18 ASIs. And what I mean by that is, an academia, a university, against each one. So this past weekend, I was in Los Angeles, drove up to Fresno State to meet with the faculty there, and we did it's called ADAP training. It's a pre-deployment agricultural block of instruction. But Fresno State is aligned to support the 6 uniform ASI. And the 6 uniform is ag business development. I may be off a little bit with that, but that is what a 6 uniform is. And that's just one example. You probably heard about the Monuments Men initiative against our archivists, hosted by the Smithsonian. Again, that is another example of that alignment. And there's exciting things happening again across all the ASIs. You'll probably see through your KCOMs or your other organizations, there's some training coming up in February related to the 6 Charlie ASI, which is commerce and trade. And I think the training has to do with money laundering. And the 351, we're looking to host another Monuments Men training later in February. Not quite as full blown as what happened over the summer through use of KPOC, but just an orientation. And really our goal is to baseline the 38 golf community. So all the golfs and those other Army capabilities, to give them a taste of what their fellow experts do and know. The importance with that alignment, though, is, again, getting back to Fresno State with the 6 uniform, we did a baseline of training and everybody got some familiarization on ADAPT. But what Fresno State and what these other institutions really do is they provide that geostrategic reach back to the 38 golf when he or she are deployed downrange, doing assessments and engaging, whether it be partners on in this case, I'm going to tie it to Oceania. It could be partners on one of the 10 islands that we're wanting to put a persistent civil affairs presence on. One thing that we, going a little bit long here, one thing that we are seeing, and I think we're working through it, is a little bit of institutional resistance. So, everybody's heart is in the right place, wanting to do the right thing. And the direct appointment program is new and different. And what we don't have yet is call it a direct commissioning course. In this case, it would be a direct appointment course. But a 6-week course, I think, exists for JAG officers that come to the Army, and this should exist as well for 38 golfs that come in, that teach that individual how to speak Army, basic stuff, rank structure, how to put on your uniform, that kind of thing. And because that doesn't exist right now, I think there's a little bit of pushback coming from the proponent. But through the SIG, we're going to get there. But I think more importantly, and this ties to some exciting things that Third Order Effects is doing, is you get a civilian direct appointment into the golf program, you know, he or she has that expertise. There's no question about that. That's not being taken away from them. But okay, and we've taught them how to tie their shoes and put on their uniform, but do they really know how to function on a senior staff or as a senior staff officer? Can they operate at that 3 or 4 star level? And that transition course, again, Third Order Effects has some great ideas on that front. I think that's what we're going to see next. So as you know, direct appointments again finally come to their units. This will be a finishing course to make them more successful as they operate as a senior staff officer. So I'm going to pause right there. I apologize for the technical difficulties. And Doug, let's go back to you for some Q&A.
All right, Brad, thank you very much. Couple of questions here that's popped in. See, I think you've already addressed the latest MILPER, not having the dates yet. So, and I assume that that's not been put out there. One question here. Thank you for your remarks. I'm in the process of reclassifying from MI to CA as a 38 Alpha. However, on the civilian side, I work in military governance and capacity building with foreign MODs via my work at State Department. So 38 Golf would be a fit as well. Would you recommend continuing through the 38 Alpha pipeline and considering a future shift to 38 Golf, or make a decision to go 38 Golf earlier?
I think, so I'm going to say it's an exciting time to be at 38 Golf. And as the program continues to build momentum, which it is, getting in earlier and being able to have an impact on how the program evolves is important. It sounds like you want to get in soonest, right? So I don't know. So my recommendation is certainly launch an application as a 38 Golf, but don't let that stop the process for you as a 38 Alpha. So you can do that. You can have the application sitting in queue for the next board as you continue to do what you need to secure that 38 Alpha. And then if the Golf comes through, you'll have another decision to make.
But this question has come up a couple of times, and that is about enlisted applicants who qualify at a 38 Golf. Can they make that transition as well?
So that's the third tier I didn't want to touch on. So I'll answer it two ways. I think we're hopeful, and I think there is a path for a direct commissioning route, but it's not there yet. Right now, if you wanted to make the jump and you're enlisted, you would have to get out altogether and then come back in as a direct appointee.
And a good question here. A critical piece of 38 Golf program is routine employment of SI expertise in each of the theaters. Can you speak to the kinds of mission 38 Golf soldiers have executed to date?
I can. So, and really two points there, but the 351 has in 2000, it was canceled this year, 2020 RIM pack for us, and that's the Rim of the Pacific exercise in Hawaii. That's a major muscle move for us. It was canceled due to COVID. We went in 2018 and took the entire FXSP. The 351 also set up a CMOC, and we executed an HADR scenario. And that's an example of an exercise. So the Golfs went out, did assessments. They fielded injects and helped inform the sim picture that ultimately helped we were working for a Japanese admiral that ultimately helped him make the decision of when to transition responsibility for disaster recovery back to civilian authorities. So that's one example. This year, we didn't deploy the entire FXSP, but a large chunk went to Unalaska, and that's a community on the Aleutians to do what's called an IRT mission, individual innovative readiness training exercise. Think domestic civil affairs. So we were able to, we moved, I think, 14 to 15 38 golfs across the ASIs that we thought were relevant based on the ask from the community, and delivered a pretty thorough assessment. In our minds, it rivals something that you'd receive from Booz Allen or Rand, and that's something I can make available to the group. But again, that's an exercise. In terms of real world, I think for the 351 supporting Indo-PACOM, things that are happening with Task Force Oceana. I mentioned the persistent civil affairs presence. There's going to be a real need for golfs to go to these islands, whatever the role might be. So we just did a block of instruction with ag. We see ag as a good way to get the foot in the door. A lot of these nations have, they're agrarian, they have farmers, and if we send our experts and they can talk ag, I think that's a way to have a positive impact. But I think it's also important, and this may be the way the program evolves. So there's 4 KCOMs that are out there, each looking at a specific geographic area. But I think ultimately, if those KCOMs can pool and we're able to leverage 38 golfs, let's say from the 353 to go to Indo-PACOM, we may have a 6 uniform ag expert, but we may not have a guy or gal that has tropical ag experience, and that skill set resides with the 353. So I think, among the colonels and the FXSP chiefs, we need certainly buy-in from our bosses, from the KCOM commanders and use of KPOC, but I think that would be a natural evolution of the program.
A question, is there a list published of colleges and universities that have partnered with each specialty?
So yes, I don't know how widely published it is, but if you are currently at 38, and there's some that still need to be filled. For example, within my ASI transportation, there is no partnership yet. I'm soliciting the FAA to see if we can do some training either with them or the NTSB. I guess that would be more Department of Transportation. But yes, there's probably an alignment against, 10 to 12 of the ASIs, and that list is out there. So if you're a golf, right now, the community to talk all things golf is APAN. And the reason we use APAN is it also affords our civilian partners the ability to get onto that site. And that's where the golfs and others that may not have the golf, but they're at-large members, these at-large members, faculty from the various universities get together and share ideas. But I'll talk to SIG and see if that roll-up of institutions is releasable, and that's something I can get out to you.
Brad, do you know what is being done to sell this capability and to the active component?
So the capability is, in the reserves right now. I think as we continue the brand awareness for the golf program, I can say that U.S. Army Pacific and Indo-PACOM are aware of the capabilities that we bring, and they are reaching out and asking for 38 golf support. So I think we're getting there. It's a matter of brand awareness and getting the word out.
Okay. Let me check. There's some additional information that's been posted in the chat, so I invite everybody to kind of look in there. I see that Michael just posted some information on the different categories from basic to master.
Thank you.
One other question on here. Somebody who got out of the military, who's an Air Force officer with 15 years in security assistance, partner capacity, and capacity building. Is there a space for a skill set such as that to come back in?
So, Doug, could you repeat what the skills? What was their expertise?
Yeah, Air Force officer, 15 years of security assistant, partner capacity, and capability building.
So, with a security assistant, so I'm thinking law enforcement. Within we have security as a functional area, and that tends to be where our law enforcement expertise resides. So I would say yes. You know what? I should have, in hindsight, posted the 18 different ASIs. You can find them in 3-57. But the short answer is yes, I think that individual could find a home. But I do want to, 15 years in the Air Force, very important, no question about it. But have you done those same things in a civilian capacity? And that's what the board is going to look at. They really look at your civilian resume, and I'll just throw this out there. If you nail your cover letter with the resume, telling your story, being strategic as you highlight yourself, that's huge. I would say those are the two most important documents that the board sees.
Okay, well, we are about to wrap up. Brad, any final comments that you'd like to make?
Again, I want to thank you, Doug, and John, and Third Order Effects in general. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And I'll close with this. And sometimes, people are like, hey, what's a 38 Golf? What's going on with the program? This is an exciting time to be in the military government specialist realm. I really think it is. It pays to be a 38 Golf. And if you think that you're competitive, I encourage you to get an application in. The gatekeepers are going to make that final decision. But it is an exciting time in the functional specialty realm, the golf realm, and I will close with that.
Brad, thank you very much for coming on and remarks. Everybody else attending, this is widely attended today. Everything has been recorded, and a message will be coming out in the next day or so with a link if you want to share this discussion with anybody else. But thank you very much, Third Order Effects. We really appreciate the attendance, and we continue to try to be part of the conversation. So have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.